Danny Harper wiped the sweat from his brow as he leaned against the side of his crumbling brick apartment building in the heart of Maplewood. Despite the sun's relentless heat, the worn-out landlord felt a sense of fatigue far deeper than what the weather could impart. He owned 3 buildings scattered across the small town, each a historic testament to the families and lives they housed. The fresh coat of paint he'd put on the entrance doors last summer was already chipping. It was a small, flailing effort to keep his once thriving properties from succumbing to the hands of time and, more tragically, his own dwindling bank account. With one hand tucked into his carpenter's apron, he absent-mindedly fiddled with a crumpled eviction notice, his least favorite piece of stationery. In the past, his job had been about finding joy in providing homes for grateful families, but dwindling finances twisted that joy into something unrecognizable. Now, on the brink of bankruptcy, letting go of tenants carried the weight of not just missing rent but broken bonds, dashed dreams, and the painful truth of lives upended. To Danny, people always mattered more than property. His father, a hard-working contractor, had instilled that value in him. Even now, sitting down for financial reports felt less like a duty than bitter cruelty. When nerves at night kept him awake, they weren't because of his own financial fears, but for the families under his care. He hung back from pursuing profits at the expense of connection and community. His compassion often bloomed brighter than pragmatism, even if that meant losing a few dollars. This day didn't feel like any other. Sitting alone with his thoughts as the sun hung low in the sky, a familiar knock disrupted his reverie. It was Clara, his most unpredictable yet endearing tenant. Clara, a middle-aged woman with laughter in her eyes and a heart that caught every drop of joy, was more than just a renter. She was a beacon of resilience navigating life after difficulty. Danny, Clara exclaimed, stepping into the dim hallway with an armful of mismatched groceries. "I brought you a little something just to thank you for being so understanding." Danny chuckled, setting aside the eviction notice almost instinctively. "You know I don't eat kale and hemp, right?" he joked, teasing the ever-health-conscious Clara. "You'd be surprised what you like when you're hungry enough," she teased back. Her laughter echoed through the empty building, filling the air with life. But as he gazed at her worn face and too bright smile, he sensed a shadow lifting her brow, a debt looming beneath the surface of her kindness. It slipped through her warm banter like a whisper, pleading for understanding amid a whirlwind of hardship. With Clara's rent overdue for weeks, Danny felt that familiar ache of responsibility. "I know times are tough. If you need a little more time—" Danny, Clara interrupted, her voice barely above a murmur. "I may not have your rent this month." The words hung in the air, heavy and stark, making the warm surroundings feel suddenly chillier. Part of him churned with practical responses, payment plans, late fees, and the cold business decisions he loathed. But another part whispered of compassion, gratitude, and making a choice that could change everything for the both of them. "Clara," he began, hesitating as he weighed his options, maybe you don't have to worry about it this month." Her eyes opened wide, reflection of disbelief and relief mixed into one. "You mean—" "Forgive it," she stammered. Danny swallowed. "Just this month. I want you to take care of what's important." Her tears surfaced unbidden as Clara rushed forward, wrapping her arms tightly around him. "I can't believe this. You're too good to me," she sobbed, and a wave of warmth washed over him. She pulled back, placing a hand on his cheek, a gesture of gratitude and sincerity. "You'll never know how much this means. You're my lifeline, Danny." As she brushed away her tears, something in Clara's expression sparked a fleeting thought in Danny's heart, a realization that it didn't take much to inspire change in another's life. In a world where kindness often felt like an echo, he had shattered the silence, even for a moment. Days turned into weeks, and just like the lake gradually thawing after winter's icy grip, life began to shift. Danny walked through his buildings with a buoyancy, not just an easing burden, but a sense of renewal. As months passed, Clara became a reassuring presence, often surprising him with little homemade meals or cheerful visits, carrying laughter like sunshine seeping through a cloudy sky. Yet, it was on that oddly sunny Friday afternoon when life unveiled its tapestry of wonder. Danny returned home to find Clara's door slightly ajar. Instantly, his heart drummed a warning. It was not like her to forget to lock up his instincts, both as a landlord and a friend, took precedence. He knocked softly. "Clara." There was no reply. The melancholy quiet of her apartment beckoned him to enter. When he stepped inside, he was met with an astonishing sight. The room, usually a tapestry of calm chaos, appeared transformed. Bright pink balloons floated lazily above the dining table, and colorful streamers adorned the walls like spring flowers after a long winter. Clara, dressed in a stunning dress that seemed far too extravagant for an ordinary day, stood amidst the scene with a gleaming smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes. "Happy birthday, Danny." Stunned, he glanced from her to the decorations. "I thought you forgot." "Never. I just wanted to make sure this would be a surprise." Clara's fervor ignited something deep within. "You turned my worries into kindness, Danny. You deserve so much more than what's on the surface." Gazing at the decorations, he felt the stirrings of something beautiful take root, a connection forged in unexpected places. But as Clara handed him a plate, a shadow flickered in her expression, an indescribable concern he couldn't pinpoint. As she led him over to a quiet corner, Danny sensed that the kindness he had extended was the beginning of something larger than himself. But little did he know, as the warm glow of friendship enveloped them, soon he would discover a secret that would leave him utterly speechless. As the streamers swayed gently from the ceiling, casting whimsical patterns of color across the room, Danny marveled at Clara's efforts. The warmth enveloped him, a stark contrast to the chill of his earlier worries. Efforts like these were rare bright spots in a world where financial burdens cast long shadows. He felt a twinge of guilt mingled with gratitude. His discomfort about this kindness struck him deeply, yet it was clear Clara had a gift for uplifting spirits, even amidst hardship. "Everyone needs a reason to celebrate," she said, pouring him a glass of sparkling cider. "And today, you are the reason." The tiny apartment filled quickly with laughter as friends from the neighborhood trickled in, all drawn by Clara's contagious energy. Old neighbors, some whom Danny had barely exchanged pleasantries with before, began sharing fond stories of how he had helped them fixing drafty windows, repairing pipes with little regard for invoices, or simply listening when life felt too heavy. "I remember when my family was going through tough times 2 years back, and you sat with me on the porch, just letting me vent," Margaret, another tenant, shared, her eyes misty. "You reminded me that I can build myself back up, and I did because of you." Each anecdote washed over Danny like a soothing balm, his heart swelling with an unexpected tide of joy. That ache in his chest, once characterized by overwhelming responsibility, suddenly transformed into a shared celebration of communal resilience. He could feel the warmth of their gratitude wrapping around him, lifting weights he didn't know he had been carrying. His heart raced with purpose as he connected the dots. This wasn't just about maintaining properties, he was nurturing a community. A garden of lives intertwined, each bloom nurtured by acts of kindness, both big and small. Amidst the laughter and clinking glasses, Clara sidled up beside him, a quiet smile grazing her lips. "See what can happen when you let kindness be your currency." Her voice was a soft reminder of their earlier conversation, and for the first time in a while, Danny felt the weight of his role transform from one of an anxious landlord to a proud custodian of joy and connection. "Thank you," he whispered, his eyes locking onto hers, the gravity of her kindness enveloping him like the warm glow in the room. He was astonished at how a simple gesture could ripple outward, impacting lives across their modest slice of Maplewood. Weeks rolled on, and the festive spirit of Danny's birthday lingered in the air, sharpening his perspective. Inspired by Clara, he began to consider how he could make a tangible impact in returning the kindness he'd received. As he ventured into the community, he found himself volunteering at the local food pantry and doing minor repairs on homes for the elderly. In turn, connections deepened. One Saturday morning at the food pantry, Danny encountered Frank, a retired teacher struggling after unexpected medical bills. During a casual chat about life, he learned that Frank had always dreamt of starting a small tutoring business. Charged with inspiration, Danny offered to help revamp Frank's dusty home office to create a welcoming space for both learning and launching. "Nothing luxurious, but something functional. I have some old furniture you can use, and we could spruce it up together," Danny proposed with a tentative excitement, feeling a surge of purpose behind his act of kindness. Frank's eyes sparkled with hope. "Are you serious? That would mean the world to me." The two embarked on a small transformation project, mixing paint, swapping out light fixtures, and adding personal touches crafted from years of cherished memories and dreams waiting to take flight. As the office took shape, Danny saw opportunity blossoming in Frank's eyes. It was more than just furniture, it was the creation of a haven for knowledge, an open invitation for minds eager to learn. The following month, after Frank's grand opening, the once quiet neighborhood saw the influx of children flocking to the tutoring sessions. Word of mouth spread quickly, and soon even Clara's daughter, Lily, was celebrating improved grades. For Danny, seeing the success ignite within others' lives added a radiant glow of abundance to his own. Meanwhile, Clara's spirits seemed buoyantly lifted. After a few weeks of partnership, she revealed a small but formidable idea of her own, establishing community workshops to teach budgeting, cooking, and small home repairs for those who had faced similar struggles. "I can help with the cooking class," Clara suggested one evening, excitement dancing behind her eyes only accentuated by the golden glow of candlelight. "You bring the guests and ideas, and I'll bring the expertise in the kitchen." "Sounds like a plan," Danny agreed heartily, invigorated by her enthusiasm. They pooled resources, sourced supplies, and arranged lively workshops in the building's common space. They invited families, encouraging dialogue and connection among participants. Laughter erupted consistently as neighbors shared recipes, learned alongside each other, and forged bonds through the simple act of cooking. With each workshop, the ambience thickened with warmth. The original idea stemmed not just from necessity but blossomed into an intricate web of support, healing, and shared wisdom. Clara's laughter became the heartbeat of the evenings, and Danny's ideas buzzed like the gathering crowd that came hungry for more than just food. Soon, local businesses took notice. One generous cafe owner even offered to donate pastries for their gatherings as a thank you for the community spirit they reignited. The generosity didn't stop there. Stores began sponsoring classes, fostering a magnetic pull for new guests eager to join, a steady growth of camaraderie and resilience rippling through Maplewood. It was in one of those joyous cooking classes that something unexpectedly profound unfolded. Under the warm fluorescent lights, while stirring simmering pots, Clara approached Danny, her expression suddenly somber. "Danny, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice quivering slightly as they stepped away from the bustling kitchen scene. "I've been working odd jobs to pay off my rent, but things are still tight. I don't want to drag you down again. You've done so much." His heart sank, squeezing at the echo of her vulnerability. "Clara, you are not dragging me down. We're building something together. It's about all of us sharing and supporting one another. You mean too much to this community to back down." "But what if I can't keep my end? What if I let everyone down?" Fear flashed in her eyes, and he could sense the fierce storms she'd previously endured. Even as Danny sought to comfort her, a cloud of concern enveloped him. His mind raced to remember every conversation with her. They had formed a bond based on mutual support, one that was beginning to resonate throughout the community. Would a sudden loss of faith become a fracture? He took a breath, steadying himself before speaking. "No one accomplishes greatness alone, Clara. Kindness breeds opportunities not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. If we support each other, we grow stronger together. We cannot control the outcome, but we can offer our unwavering support." With that, he felt gravity pull them closer, allowing vulnerability to blanket them in an understanding far richer than the screams of self-doubt that lurked. Weeks turned to months, and as daylight slipped into the evenings, the kitchen became a cozy haven of laughter and fresh concoctions. And just as in life, they stumbled but learned, faltered but grew. One splendid day, while Danny was heading out to grab supplies for their cooking class, he spotted a "for rent" sign amid the weather-worn foliage outside Clara's apartment. The sight twisted his stomach with unease. Just outside, he shared a knowing glance with Clara, the unspoken gravity resonating between them. "I won't let this happen," he declared resolutely, heart racing. "Whatever's going on, we'll navigate it. You're not alone in this, I promise." Impacting lives meant more than just gestures. Giving support brought light to darkest corners, igniting the spirit of resilience among individuals and creating stronger bonds with every step they shared. It wasn't just about them, it represented a microcosm of hope within their community. His heart swelled at the thought, and as he turned toward home, he found strength in the knowledge that Danny Thompson, once just a man of numbers, was now a guardian of dreams, inviting every ripple of kindness to succeed in blooming ever wider. Through Clara, Frank, and the many others wrapped in the warmth of their connections, the world of Maplewood gathered around them and began to embrace possibilities even they could scarcely imagine. As summer unfurled its vibrant hues across Maplewood, Danny found himself wrapped in the warmth, not just of the season but of newfound connections, purpose, and hope. The community workshops had blossomed into a full-fledged initiative, and they were becoming a cornerstone, not just of his life, but of many others as well. Every Tuesday evening, the common area of his building transformed into a bustling hub of activity. Families arrived carrying bags of fresh vegetables and grains while laughter filled the air. Children darted through the space, their giggles echoing like gentle music, while their parents gathered at the tables, exchanging ideas, recipes, and tips on managing their budgets. Clara's infectious spirit became a guiding force, igniting enthusiasm and camaraderie among participants who were hungry not just for food but for connection. At the forefront was Danny, actively engaging with everyone, sharing in the chores, and even attempting to cook alongside Clara. While his skills remained horrendous, the enchanting aroma that filled the kitchen offered family-style meals capable of momentarily shielding the participants from their daily worries. It was this very act of coming together that transformed their relationships from mere tenant and landlord to a collective family forged in kindness and support. However, while Danny was buoyed by these workshops, he also felt the gnawing urge to do more. The evictions caused by financial strife loomed clear in his mind. He had witnessed firsthand the anxiety that washed over Clara and others in their difficult moments, and he couldn't shake the unsettling thought that some could slip through the cracks again. One crisp morning, after a particularly late cooking session, he gathered his thoughts. Seeking inspiration, Danny picked up a pen and notebook, sitting down quietly on the steps outside. As he began to jot down ideas, a celebration of gratitude started to brew in his mind. "What if," he murmured, glancing up from his notes, "what if we could partner with local businesses to create a financial literacy program, a real hands-on workshop designed to aid the families in our community?" As the day wore on, Danny delved deeper into his brainstorming. The idea took root and blossomed, fueled by Clara's suggestions and the immense gratitude he felt each time he watched families grow stronger together. Soon, he reached out to local banks, credit unions, and financial advisors, a sea of budding possibilities sprawling before him. Weeks turned into months as the plans materialized. With Clara by his side, he organized not just cooking classes but also brought in financial experts to share insights on budgeting, saving, and investing wisely. The program, aptly titled Nourishment for the Body and the Wallet, quickly gained traction, inviting people from all walks of life to participate. At the first workshop, an eclectic group of families gathered, their eyes shimmering with a mix of anxiety and hope. Together, they learned to engage with their fears, expressing their worries about the future bills and unpredictability brewing like shadows. As the facilitators introduced tools designed for financial empowerment, Danny noticed a shift, a spark igniting warmth and determination among the participants. After one particularly successful session, Danny stood at the front, eager to learn about their experiences. "How did the information today change your outlook?" he asked, his heart racing with anticipation. Clara raised her hand, her voice resonating warmth throughout the room. "Danny, I never thought I'd feel capable of budgeting after my past experience. But now—" She paused, glancing around the room at fellow attendees. "I see possibility. I feel hopeful for what comes next." As applause erupted, Danny felt an overwhelming swell of gratitude. Those simple words encapsulated everything he had hoped for when he first took a step in Clara's direction to alleviate her burden. It inspired him to continue this endeavor with relentless passion. News of their initiative spread like wildfire across Maplewood. Families began attending religiously, sharing newfound knowledge, engaging with experts, and bonding over shared challenges and triumphs. The community flourished in ways Danny had only dreamed. Months flowed seamlessly into a warm autumn afternoon, and the workshops had grown to encompass hundreds of families, each one bound not only to the concept of financial aid, but also to the emotional support that had unfurled from Danny's simple gesture of kindness to Clara. The tangible sense of ownership and empowerment rippled through the community as they arrived every week, not just to learn, but to celebrate. One day, while cleaning up after a particularly busy session, Danny found himself lost in thought, overwhelmed with emotion. The donations of time, supplies, and gratitude transformed something that had once felt like an uphill battle into an ever-expanding tapestry of connection. Clara appeared beside him, as if sensing his thoughts. "Danny," she said softly, her demeanor brighter than ever, "I've been thinking. Since we focused on financial empowerment, why don't we take this a step further? We can create a community fund collectively pooling resources to help others stay afloat during hard times." The idea struck a chord in Danny's heart, resonating with echoes of what he had witnessed over the months. "You mean, a fund to help our neighbors pay bills or support them in emergencies?" he proposed, exhilaration bubbling within him. "Exactly. We share knowledge, we can share finances too. A way to ensure no one falls into despair again, just like you lifted me when I felt hopeless." As Clara spoke, waves of emotion washed over Danny. He reflected on the interconnectedness of their lives, fueling each other forward toward healing. The community fund was established that very week. Residents of Maplewood eagerly joined the effort, donating what little they could. The donations fostered a rich culture of reciprocity and gratitude, a vision that reframed their relationships. Danny noticed something beautiful: family members would pitch in, neighbors would rally around, and a profound sense of accountability began to blossom. As fall rolled into winter, Danny received an envelope that excitedly changed the course of their collective mission. It was from a local grant program that acknowledged the impact of initiatives in improving the well-being of neighborhoods. With a sigh of disbelief, he read the letter aloud to Clara, who nearly squealed with excitement. "Danny, we've received a substantial grant to continue our work and enhance our workshops. This could support our fund and—" He interrupted her, his voice thick with emotion. "This is it, Clara. This is the moment where we can truly elevate our community. With this money, we can help so many families standing at the edge, just waiting for a chance." As steam from cooking began to swirl in their collective gathering space, the warmth was palpable in the room, filling hearts and igniting resilience in ways both profound and humbling. They shared ideas on how to expand the initiative and support their community better, perhaps even with funding for educational pursuits or emergency grants for anyone who needed a leg up. Winter settled in, and in the weeks that followed, Danny watched with pride as the fund took off, a testament to what individuals unified by kindness could achieve. More families credited the growth of their own savings, attended workshops, and expressed gratitude for the opportunities that flourished in their lives. They gleaned strength from shared stories, sharing challenges that transformed them into vessels of motivation and hope. Gathered around the warmth of a cozy fireplace in the building's community area that holiday season, Danny found himself amongst a room full of life and vitality. Songs of gratitude reverberated throughout the space, combining laughter, joy, and the unforgettable taste of Clara's gourmet holiday creations. "Together, we've built something incredible," Clara voiced as she faced the circle of friends they had formed. "Each act of kindness has its own universe. You never know how far one gesture will reach." Danny's willingness to forgive rent birthed this community fund. "We've just scratched the surface of what we can achieve together." Smiles radiated and his eyes sparkled with camaraderie and gratitude. They began to share their reflections, each resonating with the theme of transformation and empowerment. It became clear that just as Danny had once changed Clara's world, she too had changed his, their reflections connected by mutual support. As the night wore on, the atmosphere brimmed with hope. Danny raised his glass, the golden light flickering off it like the warmth of the room. "To kindness. To friendship that transforms lives. Let us continue to raise each other up and support our neighbors as we journey together." The cheers filled the air, resonating throughout, strengthening the bonds among them. In that circle, Danny felt the weight of his past burdens lift entirely through simple acts of kindness. They had forged the very essence of unity, love, and resilience. Months later, as winter thawed in the embrace of spring, Danny walked through Maplewood as if he were encountering a new road paved with possibilities. Each face that passed him carried warmth, hope, and gratitude, a living testament to kindness rippling through their community. Standing with Clara after an afternoon of planning more workshops, he caught her gaze as she leaned against the kitchen counter, smiling brightly. This all began with one act of kindness. How poignant life is in knitting those threads together, shaping them into something bigger." Danny nodded thoughtfully, appreciating how true that was, not merely for them, but for the countless lives they had touched. In every gathering, every shared meal, and every piece of laughter, echoes of gratitude were stitched deeply. "Together, we've created a legacy," he affirmed, "one that proves that when kindness transforms lives, it leaves an impact that resonates far beyond its origin." And there, at the heart of the community they had built through ups and downs, laughter and support, they understood that life flourished when knitted together in kindness, hope, and a shared vision. In every corner of Maplewood, every moment whispered of abundance, igniting countless stories of transformation that transcended all boundaries and united them as one.